Hi everyone, hope you guys are all having a great day today. In today's video, I'm going to cover the whole entire market in terms of Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and S&P 500, including the economic calendar. Now for the S&P, I'll be looking at the SPY, and for Nasdaq, I'll be looking at QQQ. And I do post these videos daily, so I highly encourage you to double check my latest videos on X and YouTube, so that way you get the most latest up-to-date information. And if you find this video beneficial towards the end, consider dropping a like. It does help out the channel, so thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. First, I'm going to go through the economic calendar before I get through the technical analysis. And for July 5th, 2024, for Friday, at 5 a.m., we have New York Fed President John Williams' speech in India. And at 8:30 a.m., we have the following. We have U.S. employment report, U.S. unemployment rate, U.S. hourly wages, and as well as hourly wages year over year. Now for the technicals, for S&P 500 and Nasdaq, they're showing ultimately upside, but they're showing a slight dip potentially first. So it could be the first half of the trading day potentially. And then for the Dow Jones, it's just showing straight upside. Now, this could be changed for the S&P and Nasdaq for that slight dip potentially for the early part of the trading day. It could be outweighed by the mega cap stocks where we won't even see that dip since, for example, for Tesla, it's been going up for the past few trading days. And we see the last trading day, it went up 6.54%. And then NVIDIA went up 4.57%. So ultimately, we might not even see that dip a little bit. And it's going to be a small dip. I'm going to go through those levels. So first, for the S&P 500, specifically looking at SPY, we closed at $551.46. If we were to dip down lower, first, we do have a baseline support potentially that could act up from the previous all-time highs of $550 and some change. But the next level would be ultimately at $548 and some change. The way I'm getting that is just a rough sketch. Basically, right about here, 548 and some change. So we bounced off as support, give or take. We had resistance previously, and then resistance across, and a resistance tick right there that was previously there. And then if we were to drop down lower, I'm expecting support for based off the moving averages, which is roughly about 546 and some change, which coincidentally we saw support, support, consolidated support right around that same level, plus resistance around that same level, give or take. So 1-2 touch points right there. And then the bottom part of the moving average is about 545 and some change. Now to the upside, we could have resistance at the 551 and some change, which is more specifically about 551 and 73 cents. But what I'm thinking that we're going to be heading up to is around the 555 for the time being, 555 in terms of the upper limits. Now for QQQ, it's a little bit actually pretty much the same, but a little bit higher highs. So we're at $491.04 in terms of the current price point. But the resistance, I think, is going to be, or not resistance, but heading up to 500 clean almost. So when I did the calculations based off Nasdaq, in terms of the upper limits, it's going to be 498 and some change. But I think given everything, it might even potentially almost hit 500. So again, we're at 491 right now, heading to 498 and some change, but I think we might even hit 500. Now to the downside in terms of support, what we could be having support is at the 486 and some change, which is the previous resistance level, and I think that could act as support. And if it doesn't, then we're heading down to the moving average price points range, which kind of coincides with the resistance to support levels here and there, give or take. So with the moving average resistance, so we have support right there, resistance, and a little bit of a side consolidation, but the moving average, so about 484, that could act as support all the way down to 481 and some change. So there's that for the Nasdaq/QQQ specifically. And in terms of Dow Jones, we have this upward trend resistance line that dates back since 2021, and then upward trend support level that dates back since April of 2024. Now, because it's showing straight upside, the first level that we need to break, mind you, we're at 39,308 points. And the first level we need to break pretty much is at the 39,600 range, because it's 39,600, 650. And then after that, if we do break it, which I'm pretty confident we're going to break, the next level is give or take around this price point right about here, which is about 39,900 points plus or minus. That's just a rough estimate. Are we going to get to it quickly? I'm not 100% sure because it depends. The Dow Jones is constantly showing upside, but yeah, it's just consolidating right about here. And then if we do come down, I'm expecting the moving averages pretty much ballpark to support us, as we've been seeing pretty much the past few days. Again, the MACD lines are showing upside, so the support would be pretty much about 38,900 points, give or take, 900 points, or the high 800 points, and then 39,000 clean, and then 39,185 points. That's the price points that we're looking at in terms of support. But that's basically it for today's video. If you did find it beneficial, consider dropping a like. It does help with the channel, so thank you so much for that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.